As the dense fog rolled in over the remote mountain village of Evren, Maya felt a chill trickle down her spine. She hadn't intended to end up here. Her car had sputtered to a halt on the winding road hours earlier, and her phone was long dead. With the next town miles away, she had no choice but to follow the winding path up to the small village she'd noticed in the distance. The people were kind, if a bit strange, and they spoke with accents that hinted at old world origins. The innkeeper, an elderly woman named Serena, had insisted on giving Maya a room for free, and other villagers stopped to greet her as if she were an old friend returning. But there was something off. Night crept quickly over Evren, and the thick mist that clung to the mountain seemed to breathe with a life of its own. Lanterns flickered along the cobblestone paths, casting eerie shadows that swayed in the fog. Maya caught glimpses of movement from the corners of her eyes, a figure slipping into an alley, a shadow that didn't quite match the figure standing before her. As she wandered the village square, taking in the sights, she stumbled upon a tall, crimson-robed figure standing before the ancient church. His eyes, a deep shade of red, flicked to her with a brief, piercing stare before he turned and disappeared down a narrow passageway. Maya felt her heart beat faster. Something in that glance had felt wrong, but she couldn't shake a strange pull to follow. She stepped into the passage, feeling the air grow colder as the mist thickened around her. The lanterns here had gone out, and only the pale light of the moon filtered down. In a quiet, almost ghostly whisper, she heard voices ahead. She crept closer, trying to make sense of what was being said. "Our numbers dwindle," one voice hissed. "Soon, we will have no choice but to hunt again." "The newcomer," another voice replied, its tone eager. She could be worthy. Maya's heart skipped a beat, realizing the voices were talking about her. She backed away, but her heel caught on a loose stone, sending her stumbling. The whispers halted abruptly, and the silence that followed was deafening. She turned to run, but before she could take a step, a hand clasped her shoulder, cold as ice. She spun around to find herself face to face with a tall, handsome man, his eyes gleaming with that same unnatural red glow. He studied her, his gaze intense and unreadable. "You're not from here," he said, his voice as smooth as silk but laced with a hunger that made her skin crawl. "No, my car. I got lost," she stammered, feeling a growing panic. "You shouldn't have come to Evren," he replied, tilting his head in that strange, almost curious way. "The mist hides more than you can imagine." She felt the weight of his stare and fought to keep her breathing steady, her mind racing. The villagers had all been so welcoming, but now, every encounter, every strange look, every low whisper, it all fell into place.